Hey everybody, Chris here. Welcome on a Sunday night. What a crazy day it's been. So much going on. Typically Sundays are pretty quiet, but not only did we have the uh this the whole banking thing getting straightened out, but then we had crypto just taking off today. So pretty exciting day. We're going to cover it all here. Welcome. Glad you could join me here. I'm going to pop down into the corner here so we can look at the charts nice and big, and we'll get into Signature Bank in a minute, low roller. First, I just want to say, if you're watching this on the video after the live stream, that means you weren't here at 9 o'clock p.m. on a Sunday night with Chris, so you couldn't ask questions, you couldn't take part in the chat. So please join me 9 o'clock every night. That's East Coast U.S. time, Boston, where I am. So please be sure to tune in. Also, give a like and subscribe as well if you haven't subscribed. But definitely the likes help sort of get this information out there. The more and more people that are joining me in this whole crazy path to wealth and freedom, because that is what we're doing. We are wealth building in a bear market, and we know that a year or two from now, we're going to be sitting pretty well. Well, that is the plan anyway. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I am telling you what I'm doing, and I have been buying crypto over the past couple weeks. I was telling you all on these live streams when I was buying, at what prices I was buying. That's all documented on my charts. And what we saw today was a big run up from the depths that crypto reached from Friday and Saturday, that a lot of people were really sour on crypto, but crypto remains very strong. And so we will cover all of that. Dogecoin right now at 715, it's been up as high as 724. That's right. Came over 7.2 cents, just breaking 7 cents. I thought was a good goal, but it went even higher. And Bitcoin, not only Bitcoin break 21,000, it also broke this 22,000 level up to 22.5, now trading at 22.6. Very strong trading for Bitcoin. And then we just across the board, everything. Ethereum back over 1,600. Ethereum was actually leading the way earlier. It was like one of the first ones to pop here this afternoon was ETH. And so ETH was way up ahead of others. As far as SHIB and BONE, SHIB was kind of slow taking off, and BONE was just going down today. So this whole Shibarium thing, I think there was a lot of hype of trying to get people to buy this BONE token. And so BONE was definitely overvalued, and it was selling off, big sell-off today. But then with the rest of the cryptocurrency market taking off, BONE kind of recovered a little bit. Certainly isn't up as much as other cryptos, but if it wasn't for these gains that we had everywhere else, we would have seen this drop a lot more. So a little sour on the whole SHIB ecosystem today. We'll see how that plays out ahead. Again, these are long-term things. At some point in time, it's probably going to take off, but we keep in touch with it. So here's Doge again, 718 right now. Still trading up, very positive as we get into this. Let me say hello to everyone here. Low roller, welcome. Stock market pumping and pre-market. Yeah, we have the futures. And here's the futures right now. What do we have? We got Dow futures up about 300 points. S&P futures up about 50. NASDAQ futures up 150. That's all over 1% already, just in the futures. That's pretty strong. That is the strength of the United States government finally coming out and doing the right thing, not bailing out the banks, but helping the depositors. That's the people and the businesses who had money in these banks. So that's very strong. We'll get into the details on that in a little bit. So we've got Joshua here. You bought the deep. Very good. Very good. We were talking about buying dips all the past few days. And even last night on the stream, someone was asking, should I buy Doge now? And I'm like, it's at a lower price than where I was buying it. So I hope they did. I hope they bought their Doge. Again, there's no guarantees. We've got a bumpy road ahead of us this coming week. So we'll see how that plays out. But right now, I think we can sort of enjoy this this run that we're on. So, hey, Justin, been accumulating more Litecoin this past week. Used up all your dry powder. Sold a little today to free up a little funds, so I'm ready for the roller coaster ride. Yeah, Litecoin was pumping just this evening. Where's my light? There's Litecoin up to $78. Look at that run that Litecoin is on. So that is pretty strong for Litecoin there that we've got. Yeah, Josh, nice to see it pumping. Always good. Always good to see green while I'm live. A lot of fun. Low roller. Hey, government helping deposit. Where the money coming from? Yep. That's us, the taxpayers. I mean, but we're already sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, right? So we can afford this. This is nothing compared to what's going to Ukraine. So I'd rather see actually more of this than that, to be honest with you. But we do have to look out for freedom in the world as well. So it's a touchy subject. Don't want to get into too much politics here. So what's going on? Bitcoin rises. Well, this came out earlier, first to 21K. We had a lot of shorts getting squeezed. That's right. There were still a lot of people and institutions that were still shorting crypto, shorting Bitcoin, and they got squeezed out up to almost $100 million of shorts got liquidated in the past 24 hours. So screw you shorts. Too bad. We don't like shorting. And I also don't recommend going long either with leverage. Just, cryptocurrency is risky enough. If you want to start trading with leverage, you got to know what you're doing. And second, that's a riskier risk and you can just get burned. And that's how a lot of people just get wiped out. So be very careful. But yeah, that was big. Those shorts getting liquidated. So what happened here today? Bitcoin, ETH, Doge, all popped on the Silicon Valley Bank rescue rumors. And they're really more than rumors now, and I'll show you that in a minute. Traders are reacting to the Silicon Valley Bank will find a buyer. Yes, there is an auction going on today, an auction on who wants to take over this bank. Well, the FDIC already took it over, right, on Friday. They took it over and they gave it some temporary name called the Santa Clara something or other. And then, but that bank could go to another institution, another bank, or an individual, like say maybe Elon Musk, if Elon Musk wanted to bid for it, because we know he'd like to get back into the banking business and the payments business. And having a banking charter is a big deal. And to get one from scratch could take years for Twitter and his X.com and whatever that venture is. But if he bought Silicon Valley Bank, he would get that banking charter. Of course, can he afford it? He'd probably have to sell a bunch of Tesla shares, and all the Tesla supporters don't want Elon to buy the bank, because if he's got to sell Tesla shares, which he said that he wasn't going to do, but if he did in order to buy this bank, that wouldn't look good for his Tesla shareholders. So pretty interesting there. We'll see how all of that plays out. But so what happened today? Stock market closed on the weekend, of course, but crypto trades 24/7. But we already saw what the stock market is already reacting positively to this news we'll get to in a minute. And as ironic as it may seem, the crypto market is reacting to the rescue of the bank's depositors, and not only Silicon Valley Bank, but also Signature Bank. We'll talk about that in a minute too. But depositors at Signature Bank are also going to be covered by the US Treasury. But not the banks themselves. They're not bailing out the banks. The banks are done. Those banks are done now. But we'll see how that plays out. Tomorrow there'll be more news on what happens with those banks. But the US government is saying your money is safe. So with crypto, of course, the first news, right, comes out and crypto reacts positively, and we see this great trading in crypto. So that's good. But it's also a reminder too for everybody. Where can your money be safe? And why not in cryptocurrency? Because with the banks, you don't know. This could be just a one-time thing. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussions about FDIC insurance and all of that, but this might just be a one-time thing. And more information coming out about how risky the bets were that the Silicon Valley Bank leaders made. We covered that on last night's stream with their 10-year treasuries at a higher interest rate as what the interest rate was at the time. But now with all the hiking of the interest rates that we've had over the past 12 months, those treasuries, they had to sell at a big loss in order to pay depositors who were trying to get money out. So the whole bank run just took out that bank. So pretty crazy. But the crypto markets are reacting as if there's a deal in play. I'll tell you about that in a minute. The risk to the financial system is very real if banks start collapsing. And the US government does not want banks collapsing because that would be bad. As for crypto, so this is this writer for Motley Fool. I think this incident highlighted what a risk asset it remains. Many people have argued that crypto solves risks in the financial system. It does, such as banks failing, regulators not managing systemic risk. But the reality is crypto market plunged when a medium-sized bank failed. Well, I think that is not correct. It was a larger than medium-sized bank, as well as the crypto market was reacting to everything else that was going on too, not just Silicon Valley Bank. There was so much more going on there that brought the crypto market down. However, if you're invested in crypto as an alternative to traditional currencies, this episode may make you think twice about the investment thesis for crypto. There's real value in the blockchain and the business models. We've talked about that blockchain technology. So that's the fundamental thing that makes this so exciting, I think. That's why I'm here. But Bitcoin burst to 22,000. And that's right. It kept going up because the administration said, we're going to take care of the depositors. So with Silicon Valley Bank. And then we also had Signature Bank was closed. Now, I know Lowell, you said they're bankrupt. I didn't read anywhere that Signature Bank was actually bankrupt. And we'll find out more tomorrow, but they closed it. The regulators closed that bank, but nowhere did it say in everything I was reading that bank had gone bankrupt. So I haven't seen that yet. However, this was the statement that came out from Janet Yellen, and the statement says, today, again, this is on a Sunday, right? These people are working their Sunday now because this is a big deal. Today, we're taking decisive actions to protect the U.S. economy, strengthening public confidence in our banking system. The step will ensure that the U.S. banking system continues to perform its vital roles, protecting deposits and providing access to credit to households and businesses in a manner that promotes strong and sustainable economic growth. After seeing a recommendation from the board of the FDIC, Federal Reserve, would complete its resolution of Silicon Valley Bank, Santa Clara, California, in a manner that fully protects all depositors. Depositors will have access to all of their money starting March 13th. No losses associated with the resolution of Silicon Valley Bank will be borne by the taxpayer. So that means that the bank, the Silicon Valley Bank, is not getting bailed out. But the depositors, whether you're an individual or business, you're going to be whole. Then we are also announcing a similar systemic risk exception for Signature Bank, which was closed today by its state chartering authority. So again, I don't know what that means yet. The state chartering authority, that's not FDIC going in and taking over. So I don't know what the deal is with Signature Bank yet and why it was closed. But I didn't see bankruptcy anywhere and I didn't see FDIC anywhere. So we'll have to see what that reasoning is. The thing about Signature Bank, though, is that was like one of the last remaining crypto-friendly banks. So I guess Coinbase had $240 million. And Coinbase tweeted today that because of this statement, that $240 million is covered. So Coinbase is okay. But you got to wonder, it's like, wow, this could have been really bad if the government didn't step in here. It could have wiped out. I mean, Coinbase, wow. That's pretty big. But this is what the U.S. government is coming out and saying. Individuals and businesses are going to be made whole, and the markets are reacting. James Invest Answers says Silicon Valley Bank hits. Blow this up here. We had the USDC DPEG, so we had a little drop there. But then it starts taking off with this news. First, the rumor that depositors were going to be made whole, and then the news coming out that it was. Then we find out about Signature Bank this afternoon, but the prices of the crypto just keep going up because it was right before this U.S. government announcement came out. BTC does not care, James says here. It just keeps going. So, kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. Prices right now, here's Doge up to 7.22, 722. Bitcoin coming back down a little bit to 22.5, but still 22.5 is really strong from where Bitcoin was earlier. So, but we'll keep Doge up here as we continue on. Now, there were these three options for preventing a national banking crisis, and was going to cover this. The best case scenario is that a large financial institution steps up to buy Silicon Valley Bank. Low Roller seems to think that there were no bids for SVB. That's interesting. I didn't hear that yet, but there were no bids for it. Wow. I mean, if it was Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, I don't know why they would want this bank. The bank had a lot of problems, which we talked about again last night. So they don't need it. But interesting that there was word that maybe Bank of England was going to step in and take the UK branch of Silicon Valley Bank. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow, more details of this will come out. The second best scenario, the FDIC, Federal Reserve, offers to backstop SVB deposits, or at least the vast majority of them, in order to secure a buyer. Well, that would be with a buyer. Next up, no buyer, effectively be a federal bailout of uninsured depositors, not subject to congressional approval, even though it would not be a bailout of the bank itself. This is what is happening right here. If nobody buys the bank, U.S. government is saying depositors will be made whole. Of course, there's the worst case scenario if none of that happens. The U.S. banks will open tomorrow with the depositors still in limbo and this uncertainty of what's going on. The stock market would be crashing. That would all be very bad. So the U.S. government stepped in today. They worked on a Sunday and came out and said depositors will be good. So that's what happened. And we see this big run in crypto today, everything in the green. So nice to see recovery. Let's zoom out to the 4-hour and we get a better look of how far all of this came down. Essentially, crypto was about right where we were from last Thursday. So this dip here that we saw, we're going to see this on almost every cryptocurrency, right back to where it was last Wednesday, before we had this Silicon Valley Bank failure, which really started late Thursday, is when a bunch of businesses were pulling millions and billions of dollars out of the bank, and that's what tanked the bank. So they just didn't have it. It's all tied up in these treasury bills. So that's what we saw. So we see this big dip here. So for a buying opportunity, what a great buying opportunity. Again, we don't know whether Doge is going to come back down into these mid sixes again. Again, I was buying on the way down. I bought at 704, I bought at 687, and I bought my last bid at 662. And those were my last purchases of Doge. I mean, I had bought over here at 739, but because there was that dip there, and I bought at the bottom of that dip, and I thought, that's pretty good. I didn't know that we were going to be seeing the mid sixes. But to be back up here at 721 is pretty good. And at Bitcoin, we look at the Bitcoin chart, and Bitcoin has recovered back to where it was back here by Tuesday. So Bitcoin even a little stronger recovery back on Bitcoin. Because I was this white line you see over here. This was a couple weeks ago when I was predicting a dip coming in the markets, and we certainly saw it. So that wasn't news to me, and I was waiting with a lot of buying power for these dips to come. So I was able to pick up quite a bit of crypto on the dip. Look at Ethereum though, really strong today. Really strong buying for Ethereum today. So yeah, that's what we saw across the board there. Yeah, those who lost money in stocks, I doubt they're going to get their money back. That Silicon Valley stock, they're not going to be made whole. It's the depositors. If you are holding stock in that company and the company goes bankrupt, I think you're out. There's no recovery for that. That's my guess there. Hey, Justin, you got to wonder after all the Chicken Little style news articles over the weekend, people getting liquidated, paper handling their crypto portfolios, the whale scoop up a ton of cheap crypto. I think so. Yep, I think so. I'll bet word comes out how many big wallet holders were picking up Bitcoin, particularly, down here at, below 20,000. A lot of people picking up Bitcoin. Yep. New face sees another dip before the correction. Real uncertain what's going to happen tomorrow. Again, we're looking at the futures right now. Let me refresh this, see if this comes up any different on CNBC on the futures. Nope, still up. 256 points on Dow, 42.5 S&P, 121 for NASDAQ. So still in the green on the futures. But then once the stock market opened, it could open up high, and then for some reason it could start going down really fast. And if that happens, I think we would see crypto probably follow. So yeah, we'll be watching that tomorrow morning. JP Morgan gave $80 billion to fund First Republic to save that bank. Interesting. Yeah, Silvergate was not mentioned. So if you had your money with Silvergate, either depositors, individuals, or companies, I don't know what's going to happen with Silvergate, but that bank was not mentioned in the Janet Yellen statement today. Interesting. We'll find out if unknown banks go bankrupt this week. Now that maybe this is enough for people not to be lining up at banks and withdrawing a ton of money tomorrow. Maybe this will be enough and it'll stop that. Hey, Monte Cristo, you bought Doge at 48 cents. Yeah, it'll be a while. I think Doge will get back up there, but it's going to be a little while. Biden's going to have a press conference. Yeah. He's going to say pretty much what that statement said. It would be my guess. He's going to just reiterate most of what Yellen put in that statement. That's what I would guess. But it's nice to see Doge back up above 7 cents, and good strong trading this afternoon and tonight. Just really nice to see, because things were looking pretty bleak over the weekend down here with Doge back in the sixes, with Bitcoin below 20,000. So Bitcoin had actually been trading up most of Saturday and into Sunday. Low volume, but it was a very slow kind of gain in the price. So I think that showed how strong Bitcoin is in its support here. And I think people were accumulating in hopes that this would happen. So if you bought in here, good for you. Hey, Bill. Yeah, the FOMC meeting is supposed to be not this coming week, but the following week. But there is going to be a Fed emergency meeting tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see what the Fed talks about tomorrow. There'll probably be some press release or something will come out. But I talked last night quite a bit about what happened to Silicon Valley Bank and how this incredibly fast and steep raising of interest rates essentially has caused this. Now, part of it is on the bank's fault. They were bringing in a lot of money, from these startups and venture capitalists, and their choices were pretty limited on what they could do with all this money. But buying 7 and 10 year long-term treasuries at a percentage where you just pretty much were gambling that interest rates weren't going to be raised as much as they were. There was some bad decision making going on there with that bank, I think. And then we hear over the weekend, again, Twitter, right? Twitter is now the town square and the place where all this news comes out. Yeah, people just digging into all this stuff. And they start finding out that they didn't have a risk manager over the past year at Silicon Valley Bank, but yet they had this woman who was running their, I don't know what you call it, almost some kind of social media marketing stuff and all the wokeness going on. And then I tweeted this today because I just saw this Home Depot founder, Bernie Marcus, warns Americans to wake up after woke Silicon Valley Bank goes bust because it was more concerned about global warming than shareholder returns. It's like they did not have the right people in the right place watching over their money. But yet they were having all of these events for whatever, just craziness. Anyway, follow me on Twitter at ChrissPax if you haven't already. And for those that follow me that are here on the stream, I'll follow you back. So join me on Twitter. Have a lot of fun there. And we'll see what Elon says either later tonight or tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see what his take is on all of this. So, yeah, we will see. Yeah, Low Roller. Thanks for talking to Monte Cristo there. It's like, yep, it's just time, right? It's all just time. And it's better just to hold and wait and see what happens. Again, not financial advice. Buying more at a lower cost is always good to bring your average down. That's your dollar cost averaging. That's the right thing to do. If you believe in Dogecoin and, buy some more at 6 and 7 cents, and that takes that 48-cent average that you had there and brings it right down pretty quick. So that's how you get around, when you bought some at a high price, is your dollar cost. That's what I did with Harmony One, because I bought Harmony One at 24 cents. And where is it now? 1.8. So that's even a worse percentage than what you've got with your Doge there. But I bought more down here, and I bought a lot more here than I did at 24 cents because I still believe in the project, and it brought my average way down. So that's exactly what I did with Harmony. So we'll see how that plays out. But that was the bet that I took. All right, gang. Again, a Sunday night here. It's been an interesting day, more interesting than most most Sundays as we have. Here's Mark. Take it off your exchange. Yep. Unless you've got some on there and you're doing some like swing trading or something, which again I don't recommend with crypto. It's so hard. But yeah, take it off the exchange. I recommend the Ledger hardware wallet. Again, I have a link in the description below if you're interested in Ledger wallets. This is my Nano S that I have here. I like the Nano S, which is the least expensive one. And in fact, I recommend the least expensive one because you don't need Bluetooth. You don't want Bluetooth on your hardware wallet. You want to plug it in, do your business, and then unplug it and have it. You want Bluetooth in the hardware wallet, and you pay extra for that. It's like, no, just the Nano S is great. My recommendation. Anyway, check out the link in the description below for the Ledger hardware wallets. Highly recommended. I use that, and I use Exodus. I have an Exodus wallet on my PC that I had before I got the Ledger, and I got a bunch of crypto on Exodus. So I like that as well. But the Ledger is it's a cool thing too. So it's really I like that too. So And that's true, Mark. The coin count is what matters, not the average. You have to keep track of the price, though, because when you sell, again, depending on what country you're on, but in the United States, you've got long-term or short-term capital gains taxes on your profits. But even if you sell for a loss, you can offset other profits that you make. So we talked a lot about taxes a couple months ago, like the end of December, as people were making their strategies of what they were going to be doing about profits and losses, because that's the time you need to make those decisions, is in December, in order to try and balance out your profits and losses. So we'll be talking about that, off and on throughout the year, because that's important too. You don't want to be giving away like 30% of your profits in taxes. That's not good. So there's ways to get around it, and we'll be talking about that some more again soon. So again, interesting day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be crazy in the stock market. I think there's a lot of news about the banks. We'll see what the president says, all of that. But again, good trading today. Looks like we might see kind of some evening out here. Maybe a little retracement this evening. We'll see. We'll watch and see what happens there. Again, I will have my 24/7 Doge chart back on as soon as the stream ends. So do tune in for that. Leave some comments on the live stream. Certainly appreciate that. Again, like and subscribe as well. Appreciate the support. Everyone have the rest of a good evening, and we'll see you next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.